G'day, science lovers and curious minds. I want you to do something for me. Take a moment, step outside, or just peer out your window. What do you see? Chances are, you'll spot a splash of green. It might be a towering gum tree, a humble patch of lawn, or a determined little weed poking through a crack in the pavement. That color, green, is the color of life on our planet. It's so common, so wonderfully familiar that we often take it for granted. But what if I told you that this signature color of life might be incredibly rare in the grand scheme of the universe? Imagine for a second that you're an astronaut. You're part of the first crew to land on a planet orbiting a distant star, a world light years from home. You step out of your lander, your boots crunching on alien soil. You look up at a sky that isn't blue, lit by a sun that isn't yellow. And as you gaze out at the landscape, you see forests. But these aren't the green forests of Earth. Instead, the plains are covered in plants of a deep, velvety black. The trees stretch up towards the alien sun with leaves as dark as a moonless night. It sounds like something straight out of science fiction, doesn't it? But this isn't just a flight of fancy. It's a genuine scientific possibility. The question of what alien life might look like has captivated us for centuries. We've imagined little green men, giant insects, and all sorts of fantastical creatures. But what about the plants? The alien botany? The color of an alien world's flora could tell us an incredible story about its sun, its atmosphere, and the very mechanics of life that have evolved there. To understand why alien plants might be black, we first need to get a grip on why our plants are green. It all comes down to a truly magical process, one of the most important chemical reactions on our planet, photosynthesis. Think of it as nature's solar power. Plants are brilliant little chemists. They take in carbon dioxide from the air we exhale, suck up water through their roots, and then use the energy from our sun to cook up their own food in the form of sugars. This process not only feeds the plant but also releases the oxygen that we and most other animals need to breathe. The key ingredient in this recipe is a special molecule called chlorophyll. This is the pigment inside plant cells that gets the whole process started. Chlorophyll is an absolute gun at absorbing light energy. But here's the quirky bit. It's a bit picky about which light it absorbs. Chlorophyll is fantastic at soaking up the energy from the blue and red parts of this spectrum, but the green light? Well, chlorophyll isn't so keen on it. So what happens to that green light? Instead of being absorbed, it mostly gets reflected away. It bounces off the leaf and into our eyes. Your brain processes that signal, and you perceive the leaf as being green. So paradoxically, the color we most associate with plants is the very color they have discarded. We are seeing the light that the plant has no use for. It's a beautiful planetary scale consequence of a single molecule's peculiar preference for certain colors of light. Our sun, as brilliant as it is to us, is just one single solitary star among an estimated 400 billion in our Milky Way galaxy alone. And stars, much like people, come in all sorts of different varieties. They aren't all the same friendly yellow-white color we see in our sky. And then there are the most common stars of all, the ones that make up about 75% of the entire stellar population, the red dwarfs. These are small, cool, dim stars that sip their fuel slowly, potentially shining for trillions of years. Let's do a bit of cosmic real estate speculation. Imagine we found a planet that ticks all the boxes for life. It's rocky, it's in the habitable zone where liquid water can exist, and it has an atmosphere. But this planet orbits a red dwarf star. Stepping onto this world would be a surreal experience. The sun in the sky wouldn't be a small, brilliant yellow disk. It would be a large, dull crimson orb, like a permanent sunset. Now let's think about the plants on this world. If an Earth plant were transported here, it would be in serious trouble. While it could absorb the red light from the red dwarf, it would be starved of the high-energy blue light it also relies on. So, what would native life do? Evolution is the ultimate pragmatist. On a world where light is scarce and skewed towards the red end of the spectrum, life cannot afford to be picky. A plant would need a pigment, or maybe a whole suite of different pigments working together, that could absorb energy from every single part of the limited spectrum available to it. A plant that absorbs all the light that falls on it, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet, would leave no light to be reflected back to an observer's eye. An object that absorbs all visible wavelengths of light appears, to our eyes, as black. Therefore, the most successful plants on a planet orbiting a red dwarf star would likely be black. We can actually find clues to support these ideas right here on our home turf. Take a journey deep into the ocean. Here, hundreds of meters below the waves where light is incredibly faint, you'll find species of red algae. These algae contain not only chlorophyll, but also other accessory pigments, which are brilliant at absorbing the blue and green light that penetrates deepest into the water. Head to a dark, damp forest floor underneath a thick canopy of trees. In these deeply shaded spots, you'll often find species that are much darker than their sun-loving cousins. Some lichens are nearly pitch black, packed with as many light-absorbing molecules as possible to eke out a living in the gloom. The universe's color palette is likely far richer than just green and black. Imagine a planet orbiting a star hotter than our sun. This could lead to plants with a reddish or orange appearance, their leaves full of protective pigments. Perhaps on another world, retinal-based life won the evolutionary race. We could find a planet that is a vibrant patchwork of violet and magenta, a purple Earth. The possibilities are truly mind-boggling. We could find worlds of red, blue, or purple plants. Each color would be a clue telling us about the unique history and environment of that world. This isn't just science fiction anymore. We are living in a golden age of astronomy. With instruments like the James Webb Space Telescope, we are, for the very first time in human history, able to analyze the atmospheres of planets orbiting other stars. We can sniff out the chemical makeup of their air, looking for gases that could be signs of a living, breathing biosphere. The search is on. Astronomers are right now pointing these incredible new eyes towards promising exoplanets, particularly those orbiting nearby red dwarf stars. Finding a planet that is suspiciously dark, a world that absorbs more light than it should based on geological models, could be our first tantalizing hint of a black biosphere. So we return to where we began, but with a renewed sense of wonder. Step outside again and look at that patch of green. It's no longer just a color. The next time you see a green leaf, you won't just see a simple plant. You'll see one possible answer to the universal challenge of converting starlight into life. And you'll know that out there, under different suns, life could have found radically different answers. As we continue to gaze out into the vast, dark ocean of space, what will we find? What are the true colors of life across the cosmos? The honest answer is, we don't know. And for a scientist or any curious person, there are no three more exciting words in the universe: